Welcome back. The leader of the opposition St. Lucia Labour Party, Philip J. Pierre, has accused the government of St. Lucia of attempting to dazzle and distract St. Lucians with gimmicks whilst ignoring the true issues plaguing the country. During a Thursday press conference, Pierre stated that the island's Prime Minister, Alan Chasney, is unwittingly showing his inexperience as a leader as he continuously fails to uphold his prime ministerial duties.
We have to draw to your attention that the policies of this current government continue to show why it is unfit for office, why it is incapable of managing the affairs of the country, and why the people must remove it at the next general elections. The government has failed to successfully manage the dire economic crisis facing the country, along with the promise to eliminate VAT. Public servants, not trusting this government, are still uncertain as to whether the threat of reducing their salaries by 50% is still on the cards. Instead of providing relief for the humanitarian, social, and economic needs of the parents of our school children, the banana farmers, the fishers, the displaced workers, and the unemployed, the government engages in electoral gimmicks.
He has stated that the government is attempting to distract the masses by engaging in minor aesthetics to appease them.
The government engages in electoral gimmicks of road construction and other infrastructural projects that have no stimulus to the economy or the lives of the people. In the city, small vendors and other persons struggling to make a living are hounded daily by an unsympathetic city authority. This United Workers' Party government and its agents simply do not comprehend the pain and distress which the majority of St. Lucians are experiencing, and its priority should be to ease their suffering. In these stressful times, the government has failed in its promise to reduce crime. The murder rate is climbing, with 4 murders in the last 2 weeks, bringing the total to the year to 42. So much for a Prime Minister who promised to do with crime what he claimed his predecessor could not do.
Pierre went on to not only accuse the government of having its priorities twisted, but added that they favor foreigners over locals.
The Cabot fiasco, the failed Pearl of the Caribbean project, and horse racing track once again illustrates this government's preference for aiding undeserving so-called foreign investors over its people and over the country's institutions like the St. Lucia National Trust and the National Insurance Corporation. Its prosecution of the National Trust and some of its officials is yet another example of a calculating and vindictive government that is attempting to hide its own misdeeds by smearing those who oppose it.
The opposition maintains its slogan that for the survival of St. Lucia, the Prime Minister and his government must go. Polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, is a hormonal disorder common among women of reproductive age that causes infrequent or prolonged menstrual periods or excess male hormone levels. September has been designated as PCOS month. The director of the Fertility and Weight Management Center says there is need for greater sensitization on matters of reproductive health. Genevieve Gonzague tells us more.
1 in every 5 women of childbearing age is diagnosed with and affected by polycystic ovary syndrome. PCOS, as it is most commonly referred to, is a condition that affects a woman's hormonal level. September is designated PCOS Awareness Month. The aim is to help improve the lives of those affected by PCOS and to help them to overcome their symptoms as well as prevent and reduce their risks for life-threatening related conditions. Hot 7 spoke with the director of the Fertility and Weight Management Center, Charlotte Byrne, who explained what the daily struggle of living with PCOS is like.
It's basically small follicles, immature follicles that haven't developed, matured enough to go down your fallopian tube during ovulation. So what they do is they stick all around your ovaries, and that's what's seen on a pelvic ultrasound. They would have acne, they would have the facial hair, they would have the weight gain, greasy skin. Obviously, irregular cycles is one of the major parts as well, not seeing your period or having the prolonged bleeding. Sleep apnea, a lot of ladies complain that they have problems sleeping at night time, and that comes inside with depression and anxiety. All of that comes under the PCOS umbrella.
Most women who are affected by the umbrella symptoms of PCOS are usually prone to depression and additional weight gain resulting from it. She also explained that diet may lead to one contracting PCOS. It is also hereditary.
Because it's related to diabetes as well, and we have the highest rate of diabetes per capita in the world, I do believe personally that diet forms a lot of the diagnosis here, is really bad diets to start with. It is hereditary as well, and it can, it can come down and move down in families, from mum to daughter, especially when, if you're overweight and your period's irregular and you're going through all that already, and depression, you're more prone to depression, we check that that's not the case as well.
She explains that women who suffer from the condition should not believe that it means automatic infertility, but explains that it can make the chances of pregnancy slimmer. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzaga.
The government of St. Lucia received a donation of 4 ventilators and 3,000 antibody rapid tests from the Republic of China on Taiwan. The donation forms part of Taiwan's continued support in bolstering St. Lucia's capacity to contain the COVID-19 pandemic. Fennel Neptune tells us more.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness recently received a donation of ventilators and test kits from the government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, following a handover ceremony at the Owen King EU Hospital. Taiwanese Ambassador His Excellency Peter Shen says his government remains committed to providing support to St. Lucia in the fight against COVID-19.
I'm proud to present to St. Lucia this token of care and support from the government and people of Taiwan. Altogether, 4 ventilators and 3,000 test kits to contribute St. Lucia's efforts to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. For the past few months, under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister Shasny and the efforts of the government of St. Lucia has been remarkable in response to the pandemic.
Prime Minister for St. Lucia, the Honorable Alan Shasny, says he appreciates the diplomatic relations between the two countries and the continuous support provided.
A genuine friend is one in which it's very easy to be able to measure the success of that relationship. And it's times when you need somebody in the smallest ways, and certainly today's contribution, significant in monetary basis. But I also want to say to solutions that probably one of the most difficult things to get hold of in the world today is a ventilator. So it's not even something that money could buy. And that is what makes this gift so special, that to get 4 ventilators at this particular time.
Minister for Health, Senator the Honorable Mary Isaac, expressed gratitude to the government and people of Taiwan for the donation, which will assist tremendously in the health sector.
Ambassador, I'm always very touched when we get these gifts from Taiwan. And of course, we continue to get your assistance at every point in time, with every project in almost every area of our development in St. Lucia. And it is really, we are very, very grateful for these gifts that you bestow upon us, because they're not just, fly-by-night gifts or just, out of, just mere to give something. They really and truly address an issue or a problem that we are having in our country.
The government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, made a donation of 4 ventilators and 3,000 antibody rapid tests. Reporting from the Communications Unit of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, I am Fennel Neptune.
Stay with us. Sports and the latest weather forecasts are coming up after the break.